Okay, so I want to show you some techniques for putting the floors in, and what I'm going to do is I am going to switch to the street level view because you typically work in an orthogonal view, and a lot of times you're drafting in the floor plan views. And what I want to show you is under the Home tab and under the Floor command, I can draft with any of these options. I can draw, just draw a rectangle. I can draw using any of those shapes. The rule is that wherever you draw, though, has to form a closed shape and there can't be overlapping. So a couple of techniques would be, if I show you this, if I say pick lines, then what I can do is I can zoom in on my wall here. I'm rolling forward on the scroll on my mouse, and then I position my cursor and I'm hitting the tab key until I find the face of the concrete masonry unit, then click and then lock. Then repeating this, I'm going tab, tab, click, lock. That would be one thing, although remember I'd said there shouldn't be overlapping. So I'm going to fix that later. The other way would be, say I just draw something like this. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to purposely place that there at an angle, and I can use my modify option up here of saying I want to align something. I want to align, I'm going to tab to the face and then pick my line and lock, and up here I'm going to say tab to the face, and then you see how it aligns, and then lock. The rule had been that things need to be closed, so I use the options under my modify panel to say trim, and you pick the part of the line that you want to keep, and it cleans up at the corner, or like here and here, to get my closed shape. Now you're not finished until you either say cancel the editing or finish the editing. So I'm going to say finish the editing, because in my case what I did was I drew the foundation wall so it came 6 inches above the level of the street floor plan. It's asking me, do I want to have the walls adjusted so that they go to the bottom of the floor? And in this case I'm going to say no, because I actually want the walls the way I drew them. Okay, so if I look at this, if I go up to the 3D view, and I can also get to the 3D view from here, I can select my floor, which was just generic. I hadn't told it was a specific type. On this drop down list in the properties palette, I can go down and pick a particular type. I'm going to pick wood floor joist 10-inch with ceramic tile, and you can see the change. You won't see the change unless you've got something like a realistic on that shows the bitmap images that are used to create the floor. I don't know if you see the actual ceramic tile that's on there. The other thing I might want to do here is I'm going to pick my floor, and I'd shown this before but it bears repeating. I can edit anything by going in here and say, well, the floor is at the level that I named 01 Street, but it's offset 2 feet above that. So when I do that, it moves the floor up 2 feet above what I defined as being street level. The next kind of tip would be that anytime you've got anything in Revit, and it doesn't matter what view you're working in, if you want to copy stuff from level to level, a technique is to pick the objects. In this case it's just a floor, but it could be the ground floor, all of the interior walls, all of the doors, all of the windows, and then that I could do all of them at the same time. The technique is to say copy that information to the clipboard, and then under here paste from the clipboard to selected levels. you get a list of which levels you want to copy the information to. I'm going to say I just want to go to the mezzanine level, and so what it does, it took the objects that I had copied to the clipboard and puts them on the next level up. I just want to point out that when it did that, it dropped the constraints that were on the sketch. So if I were to pick the floor on the mezzanine level and say edit the boundary, you can see that I could actually just come in here and just select those edges and move them around and then go like that, because there were no constraints. If there had been a constraint, I would have got a message to say that the floor was constrained, and that did I want to remove the constraints. The point is, the way that I work with this is that here's my floor, and I can always go into the boundary, the sketch that's inside the floor. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use constraints similar to what I did before and say on this mezzanine level I want to align. Oh, actually, you know what? I nearly made a little mistake there. Let me show this in medium detail. So what I'm going to do is say I want to align to the face of the wall there and lock it, and then I'm using the tab key again, face of the wall there and lock it, and then if I want this to be like a fixed distance, what I would do is put in a dimension that says from there to there is going to be a distance, right? And I could lock it, but just before I lock it, I'm going to pick on the face of the mezzanine level, change that to say something like 8 feet, and then I'm going to pick the dimension and lock that. So that means that if the grid moves, the wall moves, the floor moves on the street level, and the edge of the floor moves on the mezzanine level. And I'll just align to this grid line the other mezzanine now. Okay, one more thing before I leave the floor. I'll just do this quickly, but I just want to show you that if you put a closed shape inside a closed shape, I'm not even going to put dimensions on it, then what you're doing is you're actually creating a void. So if you draw the outline of the floor or a ceiling or a roof, and then you put a closed shape inside it, it cuts holes. So there's our floor. Just a few more things while we're looking at this here. I think I pointed this out talking about the interface, but here's an instance where it might be, as you're looking at something, I want to use the control key to select those two walls, and then temporarily come down here and say hide just those elements so that I can see what's inside my building there. And then when I'm finished, I can go back and say reset. So that was just to kind of show how I can work with this. Let's stop there, and then I'll pick up and we'll put in some doors and windows, and then we'll put a roof on and a ceiling.